Welcome. It's Domain Day from cheapwinefinder.com again. And we got a Halloween wine this time, which you might be able to tell by the music. And I got this one at Trader Joe's, $6.99. It's not what we normally do. I'm not usually a fan of holiday wines, ones that have special labels, because you can only sell those wines like a couple of weeks a year, and wine lasts a while. And so what do we have here? Witch's Brew Pumpkin Spice Apple Wine. Only grape wines get to be vintage dated. This might be 2021, might be 2020, who knows? But they are not allowed to put the date on that. And this is from Upper Michigan. It's from Lilano cellars that have been making fruit wine there since 1974. And my history with fruit wine, way back when, I've had some bad experience. I had fruit wines that were way too sweet and tasted like cough syrup, but that ain't what's happening anymore. They've kind of figured out how to, well, they probably always did. I probably just had some fruit wine that wasn't that good. I'm going to take a sip of this. And this isn't one of those wines that you'll knock off a whole bottle during a Netflix movie or whatever. This is more, everybody gets a glass, and we'll talk about that in a second. I'm going to take a sip. I'm having it chilled. And this is a spiced wine. And a spiced wine is really good warm. So, heat it up. Everybody gets a mug of this stuff, put a cinnamon stick in there. That's where this wine's going to shine. It tastes great. It has, even though it's sweet, it's medium sweetness level for fruit wine. And it tastes kind of like Dutch apple pie. The pumpkin spice is secondary. The spice apple dominates it, and then there's like an undertone of pumpkin spice. So and they actually have just a Witch's Brew spiced apple if you're a little tired of pumpkin spice, but hey, it's like pumpkin spice time of year. So that pumpkin spice does add something to it. Like I said, it's more of the sweetness is like a pie. There's nothing wrong, but I never heard anybody, well, there might be somebody out there, but I never heard someone say that a really good pie is way too sweet. That's like, can I have another piece, please? So there you go. Like, I don't particularly like wines that just have a label. This is a family-friendly label. It's not spooky. It's not scary. Like I said, this is a hot mug of spiced wine. This is not a Halloween costume party bash where everybody's drinking this stuff. No, this is like after the kids come back from trick-or-treating. Neighbors, grandparents, parents get together, have a little wine while the kids are running around in circles on a sugar rush. You have a little adult beverage, and this is an adult beverage, but it's kind of spiced apple pie kind of adult beverage. It's kind of, and I like it. We're in Chicago, and we're familiar with Michigan wines, and Michigan wines are really good. Just grape wines. They're doing really good things with white wines and red wines, and they every time a Michigan wine show comes to town, it's always fun because they progress, they get better and better and better at it. But they've been doing these fruit wines forever, and they've really gotten it down to where it tastes just like ripe, delicious fruit, which is what they grow up there, ripe, delicious fruit. I mean, it's where Chicago and the Midwest gets their fruits every fall, and this is very harvest, and it's not just a Halloween wine. This is kind of a harvest. You're having a harvest party or harvest dinner, this would go with it. I mean, it does say Witch's Brew, but this is actually not just a Halloween wine. This is one of their core wines. This is something they have year round. They also have a red wine, which is a grape wine, a red blend. Up where they're at, it's usually German kind of red blends, and then they have the just the apple spice, other than as opposed to the apple pumpkin spice. And I just took another sip. I mean, I've always surprised myself because I had a bad experience with sweet red wine, or sweet fruit wine. I don't like sweet red wine either. That's another story. I'm not a fan anyway. I have had some that were good, but I usually avoid them. But I'm always pleasantly surprised when I have one and I go, yeah, I can, it's you can't think of it as grape wine because, the one thing about grape wine is the one thing it was never say in tasting notes, it tastes like grapes. It's always everything but grapes, and this is apple wine and it tastes like apples. But that's kind of what's beautiful about it. Apples are great. So that's it for me. This is Domain Dave. This is after the trick-or-treating, parents kicking back, having a good time. It works well for that. So, yeah, keep it cheap. I've got just a regular red wine coming up next. Just going back. We're got to get in the holidays. There's a bunch of holidays coming up, so we got to talk about the right wines for those things. But stay warm, stay safe, stay healthy, and keep it cheap. And I'll be talking to everybody in a couple of days. So, adios. Bye-bye.